Okay, good morning, Clay. We'll have you make some opening comments leading into San Jose State opener.
All righty. Happy Thursday, guys. Exciting time. Practice 24 today of 25 total, and that means it's time to go play some football. And I'm excited for our kids. They've put a lot of work into this offseason, 16 weeks of strength and conditioning, 2 training camps. They're on practice basically 39 today of practice throughout the year. And now we get to go play a really good San Jose State team. And like I said, on Tuesday, I think Coach Britton has done an amazing job building this program and has several key members of this team back that has created a really talented team. I think anytime that you have the trigger man in Nick Starkel coming back and the defensive MVP of the league in Cade Hall, as well as several other talented young men that have a lot of experience and a lot of confidence, you have a good football team. You know, this was a top 25 team last year, and they look like it again this year. So great challenge for us on opening day, and something I know our kids are excited about. So with that, I'll answer any questions that you have.
Okay, we'll let people raise their hand for questions, and then I'll call on you. So give it a second here. Okay, we'll start with Ryan Karchi, the LA Times.
Good morning, Clay.
Good morning.
I know we've talked quite a bit about Drake and just the next level he's taken. Obviously, other defenses are going to notice that too. How much do you anticipate just extra attention on Drake all season, and how much of a challenge is that for you guys to overcome, especially for the rest of that receiving corps?
Yeah, definitely. You know, Ryan, in the past, I remember, you get the same question here, I think, each and every year. It goes from Pitt to Amon-Ra to now Drake. And that's the beauty of USC is you always have those talented receivers. But the one thing I think goes hand in hand is the compliments that come with Drake. And I think that's going to be really important. It's not only the play of Drake London, it's going to be the surrounding cast around him to be able to, when people do try to double him, to be able to have other players that contribute in a major way. And that's what we have even when Drake was a freshman. You remember Michael Pittman being the guy at 1,300 yards, and how are you going to stop him? Well, he really didn't get stopped because there was 3 other guys around him that contributed 1,100 yards, 900 yards, 700 yards, and Drake was one of those guys who was 700 yards. So, I really think that it's the contributing factors around him as we go through this season with the Gary Bryants and the Taj Washingtons and the Katie Nixons, those big tight ends that we're using, with the Michael Triggs and Malcolm Epps and Jude Wolfs. And, so that's going to be really important for Drake as we move forward. He's had an unbelievable offseason, an amazing training camp. I do like what Graham has done with him as far as not leaving him in one position, but moving him around in several different positions so he's hard to find. But at the end of the day, you just can't have one main horse. You have to have some other contributors, and thank goodness we feel like we do. And so as we progress as an offense and as a total receiving unit, I think that's when you're going to see Drake really lift off.
Okay, we'll go to Adam Grossbard.
Morning, Clay. When you think, in your experience, what leads to successful quarterback-receiver relationships and dynamics, and what has allowed Keaton and Drake to have that success?
Yeah, I think it's when you're in the most adverse situations, do you see the level of trust to let the ball go? I'll give you a great example. 4th and 17 with a little under 2 minutes to go in an Arizona State game. And you have to put the ball in the exact right spot where only Drake can get it compared to the Mike linebackers that's running stride for stride with him. That type of chemistry in the most adverse situations is what shows me an extreme level of trust, chemistry, and being able to perform at the highest level when the lights are the brightest, and that's what the two have had. You got to remember they've been together now. I wouldn't say it's 2 years, but about a year and a half, and be able to really have the opportunity to go into their 3rd season together, and they've grown together. came in together. They're thrust in the spotlight together, and they've grown together. And so, they're two of the big factors for our success. Hopefully this year is their performances and how they contribute together. And I've seen that chemistry grow throughout this training camp. They are definitely on the same page, and that they look at each other when something's just a little bit off. They look at each other like, okay, yeah, we'll get that fixed. It is fixed immediately. They're in sync together. So it's been neat to watch them both grow. Thank goodness they're both on this football team. I know that, and it's going to be neat to watch them play this year.
When they showed that level of trust in that BYU game a couple of years ago, in that critical moment, obviously didn't go the way either of them wanted it to, but like, what did that tell you about how quickly they had grown in that regard, and just, how they've grown from there?
Yeah, I've always been fascinated with the level of discipline that Keaton has to spread the ball around. I mean, it could be 7, 8, 9 different receivers. But when he gets a one-on-one opportunity, he pulls the trigger. And it doesn't matter what age you are, whether it's a freshman year at BYU or whether it's going, into our first game versus San Jose State. He does a tremendous job of finding the one-on-ones and giving kids their opportunity to make their plays, and not just focusing on one guy. That's what I appreciate about him. So I thought BYU, that is a great example. There's a true freshman in a key moment that he diagnosed a one-on-one opportunity and tried to deliver to him. Did the exact same thing last year at Arizona State. So it's something that I think that he has a lot of discipline not to force the issue with Drake, but when that one-on-one opportunity comes, he knows that Drake's can make the play.
Okay, let's go to Vitas from the Bay Area News Group. Vitas, thanks for joining us. You're up.
Hey, thank you, Coach. How do you make sure you don't underestimate a team from a non-Power 5 conference, and especially a team that half their roster grew up in Southern California and wanted to play at USC and now feels it has something to prove because it's not playing with the Trojans?
Well, I'll say this. Coach Brennan has developed a top 25 team, and he didn't lose any of the pieces of the puzzle last year. All they did was get older and more mature. And I've always thought your resume is your tape. And when you put on the tape and you watch Nick Starkel play, you watch Cade Hall play, you watch Viliama Fahuku play, you're looking at NFL players across the roster. He's done a great job Coach Brennan's done a great job of evaluating talent, bringing that talent in and developing it. And now all these kids are juniors and seniors, a lot of them super seniors. And so their experience and their talent level shows on tape. And there's a reason that they were ranked in the top 25 last year. There's a reason that they went undefeated in the regular season, last year. For us, we took an approach last year that have a 1-0 mentality. I know each and every week we were just trying to go 1-0 against the opponent that we face, and here we face a team that has top 25 talent and has a lot of experience and like I said earlier, a ton of confidence. It exudes off the tape, and you saw it last week right off the bat versus Southern Utah. Early in that game, they got rid of all hope that Southern Utah could be in the game. And that's what good teams do. So credit to Coach Brennan and the job that he's done. He's developed a really good football team and a team that we take extremely serious because, one, they're our opponent this week, but they are a very, very talented opponent coming into the Coliseum.
Okay, RJ Abadia.
Hey, Clay, just based on what you just said, I'm kind of curious in your experience, how long does it take in a first game for your team to get rolling, and how important is a good start against a veteran team looking to pull an upset?
Yeah, definitely. We actually talked about it as a team yesterday and actually put it in our practice plan, especially offensively, just trying to get in rhythm early in this game, I think is very important. And so it's something that we did focus on yesterday in practice right from the get-go. And because when you're playing a talented team like San Jose State and you give them confidence and if they have some success early, all of a sudden, their confidence builds. And so it's important for us in all three phases to start out the right way, and we have this saying from A to B. We want to have the opportunity to be ultra successful and be able to have our type of game from the start of the game, from point A all the way through the finish, and hopefully grow as a team in that way. Because I thought last year we were a great finish team, and I was very honest with our team. I thought we had some dynamic finishes. But really did not get out of the gate in a couple games that really, produced some really tight games. And the games that we did get out, when you saw a Washington State or a Utah, when we got into rhythm really fast and got in the flow, we were able to separate and win by multiple scores. And so that's what you hope for your team. That's what we've trained for. It doesn't happen every time, but it's something that we hope we can get out to a fast start this Saturday.
Okay, we'll go back to Ryan Karchi.
Are you expecting to see Darwin Barlow at all this weekend? And also, I know you guys have talked about a 1A, 1B situation with the running backs, but it seems like you guys have suggested maybe Keenan could play a role or some of those other guys. How much are you hoping to pepper in maybe more than two backs?
I think the major workload will be handled by Vavai and Keontae in this game. We'll always carry. I do think Keenan has a specific skill set with his speed that is unique, that we carry a package for him. Darwin is right on the cusp, Brian, just being honest. I think, he's really a game time decision on how he's feeling. But I right now, my gut tells me you'll see a lot of number 6 and 28, and we'll see where Darwin is on Saturday.
Okay, Eric McKinney.
Clay, that defensive tackle spot has suffered some personnel changes, maybe based on what you thought you would have, going all the way back to before spring. What have you seen kind of from the journey emotionally, physically, of those guys still there and really kind of the whole defensive line rallying around that?
Yeah, I've been thoroughly impressed with Thule and Jake Lichtenstein in that 3 technique position, them stepping up and really creating not only contribution but leadership in that defensive tackle position. As we get to the nose tackle, it's a great opportunity for Stanley and Jamar and Kobe to, make their mark and contribute to this team. But Vic has done an amazing job with those kids. We're about, like I said, we're about 2.5 deep with some really good players and praying for health all the way through the season. But there's a lot of people, I think, in the world that would love to have a Thule out there playing for him, or Jake Lichtenstein, who I can't be even more proud of, who the 2 camps that he's put together in spring and fall training camp, being a major contributor. And I'm excited for Stanley and Jamar and Kobe to get their opportunity throughout this season to contribute and hopefully throw Ish in there. He's getting closer, Ishmael in there. So we'll see how it goes. I know the kids are excited about it. They've worked really hard. And I look forward to watching them play on Saturday and seeing how they contribute.
Okay, we'll go back to Vitas.
Hey, Coach, is it more of an advantage for San Jose State to have 1 game under its belt, or for you guys to have game film of them already this year, and for them to be wondering what kind of wrinkles you guys might pull out that you've been working in these past 24 practices and, over the spring?
Well, one thing that I know that we enjoyed that we didn't really get the opportunity last year. I remember the first 3 games last year and having no tape whatsoever of any of our opponents. So to be able to get a little bit of tape and to be able to watch Southern Utah last week, it allows you to at least see personnel matchups. Now, obviously, Brent has been doing what they've done on offense and defensively over a number of years. So schematics are very similar, but you get to see how kids have grown. I'll give you a great example. I think Sam Olson, number 88, big tight end, has really grown in his position and made a big play. Last week for San Jose State, you see those tight ends, those big tight ends they're using with big 87 and then 88. So that's one area. I do think that the thing that happens to teams too is like San Jose State. I thought did a wonderful job in their game plan last week, and you could probably talk to Coach Brennan and say, where does he want to improve? And it's probably usually early in season you see penalties, especially hand fouls. And I know they had 11 penalties last week, for over 90 yards. And that's kind of what gets cleaned up as you go through a season. Is all of a sudden you start playing real live ball and you understand that your hands can't be outside; they got to be inside the framework of the body, and being able to clean those things up. So for them to be able to be out there, get that out of their system and work on cleaning those up is definitely something I bet you Coach Brennan's doing right now. But we were glad to have a little bit of tape this year. We didn't get that till week 4 last year.
Back to RJ.
Hey, Clay, the run game has been under a lot of scrutiny during camp, and obviously a lot of things for that area of the game to improve. I'm curious about your confidence in the running game's ability to hold the ball, like those 4-minute drives when you kind of just need to hold on to it and sustain stuff like that. Where do you guys stand there?
I'm really excited about going into this season with our running game and bolstering that running back room like we did with a Keontae Ingram and a Darwin Barlow and a Brandon Campbell, and continue having the experience that Babai and Keenan bring to the table, as well as an offensive line that's worked extremely hard within the run game, both veteran leadership as well as some talented youth. We've put a lot of effort to improve our efficiency from last year, which was in our mind not good enough. It's something that we feel, we're sitting here as a 35-point offense, and we feel like we can be a 40-plus point offense a game. If that efficiency of the run game is working, not only in open field but short yardage, goal line, and those 4-minute situations. So we've made a lot of investment in it. It's now time to go see that investment pay off, and looking forward to watching it.
Okay, Lad, we'll take one last question back to Vitas here.
So my last question is, how intimidating of an atmosphere is it going to be with fans back? Coach Brennan joked that it's not just fans and the band, and but there's cheerleaders and the horses and just the whole atmosphere of the LA Coliseum. What's Memorial Coliseum? What's that going to be like, and how much do you think that could play a factor in your season opener?
Well, the one thing that Coach Brennan is fortunate to have is a very experienced team that has been in some big games. I mean, when you play Boise State for the Mountain West Championship, and you got that opportunity to walk in there and do what they did, showed me a really experienced football team that's probably not afraid of a lot of things, or has been in those bright lights. The Coliseum is a special place, especially on game day. When you walk down the tunnel and you have the opportunity to feel the history of that place, a place that's produced 11 national championships. You look at the Heisman Trophy winners, you look at the NFL draft picks, you know that a World Series and a Super Bowl has been played there. The three Olympics going to be in that stadium. There is this aura about it and this history about it that is special when you walk in there. And then you include the Trojan family, the Trojan marching band, Traveler the horse. It is a spectacle. And for a younger team, sometimes it does affect them. I don't see that affecting a group that is as old as San Jose State as as wise. And I've watched them on tape be in some really big football games for that program and handle it well. And Coach Brennan is an experienced coach that is extremely talented as his job and has put teams forth that are ready for the moment. And so we know they'll be ready for this moment, and we've got to put our best foot forward, our best effort forward to go try to get 1-0 on the week.
Okay, Clay, thank you very much for joining us. Same to the media. Appreciate you being here. We look forward to seeing you on Saturday. The press box will open 2 hours before kickoff. If you requested a parking pass, it should be emailed to you. It's a digital pass this year. It should be emailed to you by tomorrow. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. With that, everybody have a great day. Thanks.
See you Saturday, guys. Take care.